All right, it's time for Mayor Monday. This morning, we're headed to the east end of Multnomah County and a community that shares a lot of issues and works together with Portland.
Yeah, that would be the city of Gresham. And neighbors there are being faced with a big decision in this upcoming primary election. And a reminder that that primary election is tomorrow. Joining us live with updates for his community is Gresham Mayor Travis Stovall. Mayor Stovall, always great to see you. Good morning.
Good to see you, Travis and Emily. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning. All right, so the big issue here on the ballot in Gresham is the public safety levy. Break this down for us. What exactly are voters deciding with this public safety levy?
So for many years, Gresham has struggled to put enough first responders on the streets. We actually need more police officers, more firefighters to be able to respond to the critical needs of our community. And what we're looking at is adding 22 additional folks within our police and fire departments. And we have not actually upgraded our police and fire in the last 20 years. And so that is exactly what voters are going to be responding to. The question of, do we make these additional investments in our community? And so much of what we face on a day-to-day basis depends on response times, depends on the availability of these critical resources day in and day out. And so that's what we're asking our community to do, is to step up and invest in our critical first responders.
It's interesting, Mayor. A similar public safety levy ask, a slightly broader in the last election, was voted down by voters. So were there pieces of that legislation or some public feedback that you took into consideration on this ask this time around?
Excellent question. Of course, yes, there was. Voters said to us, we think it's a little too much for us right now. So we backed off that $1.50 per thousand to $1.35. Which is a pretty significant amount for our community members. And then we adjusted some of our focus. Our community members reached out to us and we reached out to them. We had critical discussions led by focus groups where they said, we want you to focus on those first responders. Too much of an expansion of these resources or these asks are things that we want to invest in, but we think we can invest in those in other ways. So we want our public safety levy to truly focus on our police and fire and first responders.
Yeah, and part of that adjustment there, what you're alluding to, and just to be clear for everybody at home, was not taking this levy and focusing on the homeless services side of that. Is that correct? That is removed from this part of the levy, focusing on fire and police.
That is one of the things that's removed from this levy, and primarily because what we heard and what we already know is we make significant investments for homeless services across the region. We know that Metro and Multnomah County have significant resources to be able to invest in our homeless services response, which Gresham does a very focused effort on those issues. And so our community said, hey, let's focus this effort on police and fire and our first responders, since we have these regional dollars to be able to invest in our homeless response services.
Well, Mayor, switching gears here, looking ahead to this summer, one of the things that I know you've focused on as mayor is engaging the youth in the community of Gresham with things like, public safety and violence in mind. Tell us about some of the youth engagement operations happening right now and how you hope to see that play out this summer.
Yeah, as you always hear me talk about, I absolutely love making sure that we engage our youth, because as we've talked about before, some of our youth are the ones that are involved in some of this violence that's going on throughout our communities. And it's not because they start with a bad conscience. They start without the engagement that's required and needed. And so it's super exciting. We've got investments, at the state level. We're making investments locally to be able to ensure that we're engaging our youth. And we've got a number of summer programs that we're going to be investing in, everything from soccer camps to ensuring that youth are engaged from a perspective of what we call summer works, where youth and teenagers can get work and engagement and opportunities that historically were not there because of flattening of organizations. We've re-implemented some of the opportunities for youth to get those jobs. And these things really help our first responders, because if our youth are engaged, many times they're now being very engaged in the opportunities that exist for positively contributing to our community and those types of things. So we're super excited about the summer opportunities and events that are going to be coming. Again, you've heard me mention everything from soccer to things like rock climbing. We've got a rock climbing gym that gets engaged, and CrossFit and summer youth programs that engage our youth in so many different ways. And that's the positive thing that we're super excited about. And we have seen incredible returns on those things that we're doing, with youth coming to us and saying, I was engaged on a wrong track, and not only now am I on the right track, but I am now a mentor to other youth in our community.
Oh,
Ah,
that's great to hear that it's paying off.
Yeah, paying it down forward down the line there. Well, Mayor Stovall, again, it's always great to talk to you. And of course, we'll be keeping tabs on that public safety levy, a big vote coming up for Gresham voters. Appreciate the time.
Well, Travis and Emily, thank you for the time, as always. Have a great one.
You too. And to stay up to date on what's happening in cities across our area, check out our previous Mayor Monday segments on coin.com. Just click on that AM Extra tab. And again, that primary election is tomorrow. So we'll be keeping tabs on that both tomorrow night and, of course, the following morning.